of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we, and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP. Yeah, we own the rights to this. It's PTP, people, power to power. Yeah, it's PTP, people to people, power to power, positive state people. Yes, you are with Rodney Grimes. I am so excited again. Like always, when I come out, y'all know when I be doing things, sometimes I have to do it and do it in front of you, but no shame to the game. I keep it real. So I got to go back and I got to make some adjustments right here. And I'm getting ready to do that because I want y'all to see who my fantastic guest is in the house. I'm gonna make all that come up there in a few minutes. Just get ready to get up on the board. And we get ready to let you see who is in the house. It is amazing what's going on. The information. Oh man, it's gonna be real powerful, real powerful. Okay, so here we go. Bam. Yes. There we go. Mr. Flemmie Johnson. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Man, I'm so excited. This is powerful right here. This is powerful. And first of all, I just want people to know that I feel honored to be in your presence, to have conversation with you. All the knowledge that I received from you, just you sharing is amazing. And that's all I can just say, man. So, first of all, I just would like you to tell the guests a little bit about yourself.
Cool. Man, first, just I want to thank you. Because indeed, for me, it's an honor. You're doing so many positive things in our community. And you're helping so many people through this podcast. And for you to be kind enough to invite me and allow me to be a part of this, I'm truly grateful. So thank you and your beautiful wife, Zana. You guys are awesome, and I just appreciate the opportunity. So, yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too.
It's a new year. It's a new year, and I feel as though my life is pregnant with possibilities.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, where are you originally from?
Originally from Northeast D.C.
Okay.
Born and raised in D.C. So yeah, man, I grew up in D.C., went to school in D.C., but I live in Maryland now, but man, D.C., man, is my home.
Oh, man. And, the thing probably just excites me the most is, whenever we have conversation, I always leave you with something positive on my mind to give me thought to go into the next day.
Well, I'm just grateful, Rodney, for my process. Grateful for the life that God has blessed me with, right? And I'm looking at everyone has a story from then to now, right?
Yeah.
Been there, done that, what you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful for where I am in my life right now. Because based on some of the things that I've gone through, woo!
Oh, man.
Man, I just want to thank God I don't look like what I've been through.
Oh, my goodness.
Because life has been a journey.
Yeah.
I've made some mistakes. You know what I mean? And I'm finally got to a point in my life where I understand the connection between the choices I make and the results that I get.
Right.
And so I'm learning how to make better choices, right? Learning how to make better choices. You know, it's one thing I've learned is until you change your thinking, you will continue to recycle your results. So I had to change the way I thought, the way I approached things, man. And I began to get different results because I started to do different things.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
so,
before, Lady Z, just before we go any, I want to make sure that I can't miss none of this conversation with this brother today. So I want to make sure that we are getting sound and everything. So check that for me when you get a chance.
I was already on that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so one of the things that when you talk about where you are today, one of the things that really not surprising, but is intriguing, how much you talk about God.
Well, you know, I have been at a place in my life. I had come to a point of utter desperation, and I finally realized, when you get to a certain point, you realize that God is all you got and God is all you need. And when you reach that point in your life where you can acknowledge that, I'm talking about when getting to a place in my life where I get to the end of self.
You get to the end of self.
When I get to the end of self, self-centeredness, self-righteousness, false pride, arrogance, ego, all those things that I thought were keeping me going was actually strangling me and choking out my spirit. So I had to get to a point where I realized that I need something bigger than me to help me. And I think that was a turning point in my life. Matter of fact, I know it was. And I began to just do things differently, man. Just surround myself with different people, and my life began to change.
You know something you said earlier that I wanted to make sure that I was able to bring that back up. Is when you said I don't know how you say it, it's two things working against one thing.
So we are mental, physical, and spiritual.
Okay.
And so if I'm not careful, because I just need to let you know out the gate, my mind ain't my friend, and it ain't on my side.
Okay.
So it gets to a point where my mind will tell me to do something that the body will tell me will feel good, but the spirit will tell me that's not the right thing to do. And if I'm not careful, if I'm not grounded, then I might be persuaded to do something that the consequences won't be that good.
Right.
But if you condition yourself, which I try to do each day, from a spiritual perspective, I'm more likely to listen to that little soft voice, right?
Oh, come on.
And I'm more likely to make a better decision.
Yeah.
Or more likely not to make a decision at all until I get some more information.
Right, right.
Because if, look, man, decisions have consequences. And so I try to just, this is why I love this, people to people, power to power, and positive thinking people. And so one thing I try to do, man, is just stay in touch with gratitude, man.
I one of the things that I've been trying to do going into this new year was not to bring any bad luggage with, negative energy. Just try to get to a point where I was feeling good about being who I am, liking me and understanding me. Did it take you a long time to get to that point?
I'm getting to that point.
Okay.
See, this is progress, not perfection.
Okay.
I'm getting to that point. But I put some things in place that I do like first of the year. Okay, so let me give you a brief scenario.
Okay.
I walk into a room and it's cluttered. Trash all over the floor, clothes all over the place, dishes in the sink, and it's cluttered.
Right.
And it's annoying. But that's clutter that I can see. So I can get a broom, I can clean up, I can wash the dish, I can clean that clutter up.
Right.
But the clutter that is most detrimental to me is my spiritual clutter. And see, spiritual clutter is something you can't see, you gotta feel. So it's 2023. I left some people in 2022. Not a bad thing, but a good thing.
Yeah. Some bad habits,
some bad associations,
Association.
some things I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
I had to leave that in 2022.
Yeah.
I had to also leave some resentments.
Oh man.
I'm still mad at people for something they did in 2020. Come on, man, let it go. So I had to just clean my spirit of those type of things, the anger, the resentments, you know, and I had to make some changes in my life that were positive. And it's an ongoing process. You know, we don't get to the finish line down here. Well, we do, but when we get there, we ain't perfect. We still got some issues when we get there, right? Thank God for mercy and for grace, his wonder twins. Thank
Mercy
God.
and grace.
Mercy and grace. Thank God for his wonder twins, man.
So if there's somebody out there right now that's out there really struggling with whether it's addiction, abuse, not loving themselves, they're in a position where they really don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring them, what would be your advice for them to do?
First, I would say this: you can't overcome what you won't confront. I'm gonna say that again. You can't overcome what you won't confront. So the first thing I got to do is acknowledge that there's a problem. I can't be living in denial thinking it's a problem.
Yeah.
And so once I do that, then I'm putting myself in a position to open the door for some help. So that's the first thing I would say. The other thing I would say, and I think I may have said this earlier, man, until you change your thinking, you continue to recycle your results and your experiences. And so if the relationship was bad last year, it's going to probably be bad this year.
Unless you
make some changes. See, I'm not into poor me, I'm the victim. Yeah, I'm not into that victim thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I played a part in that situation.
Yeah.
And if it's not conducive for my growth and my peace and my serenity, then I need to make another decision.
You know what I was really, this is funny, man, because when we were having a conversation earlier, and I was telling you about me approaching some individuals, and I was mad because they didn't respond the way I wanted them to. It's something I liked that you said. You said they have a right to say no. You have a right to say no.
Absolutely.
Without having to give an explanation.
And also, I have the right to change my mind. That's my right. Now, that doesn't mean that, look, I love everybody. I don't like everybody, but I love everybody. I'll help anybody that I can help, right? But if it's a situation where it's detrimental to my peace and my serenity, then I gotta make a decision not to participate. I gotta make a decision not to participate. Because some things are just not conducive for spiritual growth. I had to change, man. I grew up, you mentioned earlier where I was born and raised. I was born and raised in D.C., neighborhood in Northeast called the Stronghold. And I grew up with people. I went to elementary school, junior high school. So I have friends that I've known for 50 or 60 years, and they still participate in things that I've removed myself from. So I love them, but I don't do certain things with them because it's not conducive for where I'm trying to go.
Right.
And I think it's important for me to be careful who I surround myself with.
Yeah.
Positive people.
Yes.
Positive thinking. I cannot get positive thinking from negative people. I get negative thinking from negative people. Right? So, I always try to accentuate the positive, man, and just try to, look, man, I think one of the things that is helping me and continues to help me so much is staying in touch with gratitude.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Staying in touch with gratitude.
Man, I gotta stay in touch with gratitude. When I look back over my life and see where God has brought me from, man, I have to stay in touch with gratitude. Because if I continue to operate off what ain't right in my life and overlook what's awesome in my life, then it's going to affect my emotions. It's going to affect the way I interact with people because I'm operating from a negative perspective instead of one that's positive.
Do you think that we and other individuals, are we responsible for each other?
Well, I will say I think that kindness is a responsibility.
Leadership?
I think that kindness is a responsibility. And I think kindness is when you lend someone your strength as opposed to pointing out their weakness. So I need to be supportive as long as it's not detrimental. See, I've learned, so one thing that's important in my life is setting boundaries. Internal boundaries so that they can express themselves externally. And so as long as it doesn't interfere with the boundaries that I have in my life, then I'm willing to help. I'm willing to help. But if it interferes with the boundaries that I have set for the way I want to live my life, then I pray for them. Yeah, I pray for them, man.
I just, me personally, I have gotten to a point where I look at myself in the mirror and I question myself before I question others to make sure I have the right intentions. You know, I say that even when I wake up in the morning, I want to make sure that instead of me pointing the finger, that I'm evaluating what my intentions are.
So, two things come to mind when you say that. First thing, a lot of people do a lot of good things, but they don't get the blessing. And the reason they miss the blessing is because the intention was out of order.
Okay.
So if the intent is not correct, then the blessing ain't gonna come. You follow what I'm saying? And so I'm of this mindset. If I'm not looking at me, I ain't growing. I can't grow by looking at you. Like you say, I gotta look at the man in the mirror. What part did I play in this? I gotta look at my part. And I think once I can do that, man, and get that conscious contact, you know, to me, faith is finding answers in the heart. When I stop listening to this and start listening for the Spirit to move me, it just always turns out better, man. But that's a daily practice. You know what I mean? You gotta practice these things, man. You gotta invest in you. I gotta invest in me. Yeah. And then I gotta figure out how I need to do that, and then I need to be consistent at it.
I'm trying to be transparent about many things I deal with. And one of our conversations that we had earlier, when I told you that I addressed this pastor and I asked him for a meeting with him, I'm not going to say his name, and when he told me that he would talk to me when I was in the church and doing what I was supposed to do, and I said I got in my feelings. I liked the way that you came back and told me that could be his personal boundaries. Explain that.
So, and I touched on it briefly earlier. So, I have boundaries in terms of places I go, people I hang out with, what kind of movies I'll go to see, what kind of music I'll listen to.
Okay.
Because I understand how that can impact my life in a negative way if I participate in it. And it's okay. See, like, man, acceptance is so powerful. Acceptance. If I ask you something, Rodney, and you say, no, I don't want to do that, then I got to be okay with it. Because it's your choice to make the decision. And we have to, I'm learning how to find the courage to say no instead of being a people pleaser and want to go along with everybody. Oh, man, come on, man.
Which is a problem.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, because many times I find myself that I'm stressing unnecessarily trying to do something that I know I couldn't do in the first place.
Or that somebody else wants you to do.
Right.
You know what I figured out, man? It was really good what I figured out, right? This is what I figured out, Rodney. I might as well just be me because everybody else is taken. Everybody else is taken. I might as well be me because everybody else is taken.
That's so powerful. I love
Yeah,
it.
I gotta be me, man. You know what I mean? And I, you know, and I express myself. I learn how to communicate. One of the things that I use as a guideline for my communication is this: say what you mean what you say, but just don't say it mean.
Say what you mean what you say, but just don't say it mean.
Just don't say it mean.
Not with attitude.
Not with attitude, not with ego, not with arrogance. You know what I mean? But say it with humility. Because I'm responsible, man. Salvation is personal. Ain't no bunk beds in the cemetery.
Hey, what you say? Hey.
It's a personal journey, man. You know, it's a personal journey. And at the end of the day, if I can look in the mirror and say, oh, you did okay today, then that's good. If I can look at myself at the end of the day and say, man, you know you shouldn't have did that, and you know you shouldn't have said that, then I have to have the humility to go back and straighten that out. Tell the person, look, I was in a bad space. I shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean. And then try not to keep doing it, because insanity is repeating the same mistake and expecting different results. That's a form of insanity.
Yeah.
So you got to grow from those lessons, right? You know, and you have to have courage, man.
Yeah.
You have to have courage.
So you know, we got a lot of people that in this day and time are struggling. They struggling mentally, on a mental level where they don't know how to reach out. Mm-hmm. You know, we got a rough time right now.
Yeah. So that's true, Rodney. There's a lot of people that are struggling, having stressful situations, and a lot of times they result to isolation, right? Cut themselves off. And so when you isolate yourself, you don't cut yourself off from the problem, you disconnect yourself from the solution. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. And I think we, as just the human family, the human race, we need to learn how to have more compassion and help each other, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, it's like, come on, man. Let's have compassion for each other. Let's do what we can do to help each other. You know what I'm saying? And I think we got to move away from what this country represents a lot of times, which is greed, power, anger, resentment. We got to, you know what I mean? We got to move to a more spiritual place, man, and learn how to help each other and learn how to love each other. But it's impossible for a closed mouth to get fed. So you got to ask for help.
You got to ask for help.
You got to ask for help. And it ain't, you know, I ask for help. You know what I mean? You know, come on, man.
It's almost like if you was trying to lift a refrigerator up the steps and your neighbor was right there. You know, what's wrong with you asking them to say, yo, can you give me a hand?
Well, hey, man, that's practical. That's practical. Now, what's not practical, trying to get that refrigerator up the steps by yourself. And then when you got to get a back operation on the refrigerator, fall down and break it down. Your choices create certain solutions.
Hello, caller. This is People to People.
Hi, this is Cookie.
Miss Cookie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. I have Mr. Johnson, Mr. Flemmie Johnson in here today. This gentleman is I call him a philosopher, but he's dealt with a lot of things in his life, and his outlook on things is just really positive. Do you have any questions for him?
No, I had a question. I wanted to say something. I just was listening to y'all talk about if you needed help taking the refrigerator up the steps while when the neighbor just helped us to ask for help. And I heard him say it was practical, but I understand it's practical, but how do we make it a practice to get people to be more courteous or thoughtful, or just to help to be sincere? Like, how do we move forward that way and get folks to realize that we need to practice so we can be a unity to stick together?
Well, Cookie, did you say Cookie?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm wonderful. Awesome. I would say that I think Michael Jackson wrote a song a long time ago. He said, "I'm starting with the man in the mirror." And so I think the best way for me to express that's what I would like to see other people do is for me to practice that myself. And let me be the example. Let me be the example of how we reach out, how we help people. And then maybe if someone else sees the example that I'm living, maybe they might say, well, I'm going to try that too. And then, because we don't realize sometimes how much impact one little small kindness gesture will impact the world. We think it has to be something big, but just a small act of kindness, man, will impact somebody's life. And I think we have to start with ourselves and just practicing that compassion, practicing helping people. You know what I mean? And I think if we do that, man, I think it'll start to grow.
Yeah, but I do that now. So my company does that, and that's getting, to practice what, to show people examples of how we can do things, but it's how do we spread the message. I get totally where you're coming from, but it's, platforms like Rodney's and platforms like mine and yours, you spreading the knowledge from your life experiences. What do we do to grow that as a community, a force, a nation across the globe to show folks that, what we practice is an outcome. And, that will stop a lot of things, but it starts from home. It's watching my mom do things. I might practice how she's doing things. So watching my dad do things, I might practice what he's doing. It's getting the folks that we look up to do things right in front of us, and then we will practice those things along in life.
I agree. So one thing that we can do, right, is we can plant a seed.
Yes.
We can plant a seed, right? But guess what?
You can plant the seed.
You can plant the seed, right? But guess what? What does that seed need to grow? First of all, it needs the sunshine and it needs the rain. So once I plant the seed, what I'm saying, it's up to God to make the seed grow, and I think He'll do that. You know what I mean? I think every time we take a positive step, 1 or 2, I think God will take 3 or 4. So I think we have to, for me, I need to just make sure that I'm doing my part and trust God for the results. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree. But also in trusting God, we have to trust ourselves.
Okay.
So it feeds together.
Absolutely.
God will do His work, but we got to do our work.
We got to do the footwork.
Well, so let me add. I wonder. This is something that I have come to realization too. See, a lot of times people come into a situation with expectations, and they come in a situation with expectations based on what they want and their needs and their desires, and when
their expectations are different.
And when the person or whoever you're dealing with, you got to realize that your problems is not the same as theirs. So sometimes, with Mr. Johnson was just saying, is we can lead by example. So instead of expecting somebody to do something, you do it.
So let me just share my experience with expectation. Expectations are premeditated resentments. Because anytime somebody doesn't operate at the level that I expect them to, then I'm going to feel some kind of way, right? So I stopped operating in expectation and start operating in acceptance. Because everybody's not going to grow at the same level. Everybody's not going to be on the same level. I just have to accept that person for where they are and keep doing the necessary footwork and just trust God that it'll get better.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you 100%. But I think it's, I don't expect anything out of anyone because, in life, when you hurt, and I see that's why I talk about practical and practice. So part of that with me is when you've been hurt, you know what I'm saying? you do some kind of opposite. You build platforms where you build loyalty coming into the platforms because you see how people react off of what you're doing, and they flow that love into you. And sometimes we have to kind of do it a different way, to not depend on people, I guess, to accept things, because sometimes we just can't accept any and everything. We have to be practical about it.
Yeah. Hey, Cookie, let me share something. First of all, I want the audience to know, Cookie has a program that's called the Good Fight. Okay, and she deals with individuals who are struggling with any type of abuse and things of that nature, and so she's a giver. She's a survivor too. One of the things, I was with in the presence of T.D. Jake on Friday, and one of the things that he said, don't be afraid to be who you are and be different.
Agreed.
He said, because not everybody's going to respond to things the way you do, and if you're different, then what you need to do is come to the reality of what your purpose is and accept that you're different, and not look for other people to be like you. And in that process, then you will start to get to know you as you move forward. And now, he didn't say it in those exact words, but that's what I got from it. And I realized something as I move forward. I just got to be the best me that I can be.
Of course, that's it. And then once you've done that, you've done all you can do. I just show up, man. I show up, do my best, and I leave the results in God's hands.
Exactly. And for me, I've learned my uniqueness. I've learned that I'm not like everybody else, and that my approach is different. And things that I do is different, so it makes me unique. And I've accepted that piece of me, and I love that I'm different. I love that I'm not like everyone else. I love that God has given me the strength and courage to do certain things, and things that I do, people are like, dang, I wish I could say that, and I kind of say it for them. I'm glad that God has given me the brave heart that He's given me, and I'm different, and people frown on that, but more people love it. So I love that I'm able to do that and be different.
Well, Cookie, first of all, thank you so much for being brave. Thank you for what you do. It's a lot of people will look at you and try to be judgmental, but they're not. They haven't walked in your shoes, and so it's really powerful. It's real powerful that you have come to that realization of accepting who you are and doing what you're doing to help people. Thank you so much. I'm going to let Mr. Johnson get back to talking about some of the things, because he got some things he want to definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll talk to y'all later.
We appreciate you. I love you, babe.
Thank you, Cookie.
I love you too. Have a good night, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you so much. You as well.
So,
bye-bye.
So just in general, you being where you are in your place right now, do you feel like that you wasted any of your life?
No.
Even with any mistakes?
Mistakes, all the things that I've gone through has made me who I am today. I don't have regrets for the experiences that I've had,
Okay.
because I can get caught up, and we talked about the rearview mirror thing. I can get caught up in what I didn't do, what I should have did, what I did right, and I won't be in touch with gratitude because I'm focusing on if I woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know what I mean? But what I like to focus on more so than the things that I didn't do correctly or the mistakes that I made, what I do for me is I get in touch with the grace.
Mm-hmm.
Because he brought me through all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And if I stay in touch with the grace, then I'm in touch with gratitude. And as long as I'm in touch with gratitude, man, I'm going to be okay in my spirit. I'm going to be okay with what I got and not be focusing on what I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't,
Oh,
you know,
man,
you
I
know.
like that.
So the other thing about that is those experiences that I've had can now be shared and maybe save somebody else from going through the things that I went through based on me sharing my experience with those things.
Yeah.
So I flip it. I don't look at it from a negative perspective. I flip it and make it positive and share it, and maybe I can keep somebody else from doing some of the things that I did and making some of the mistakes that I made, man. But no, man, no regrets, man.
You something else we were talking about a little earlier that I really I thought was intriguing. I many times in our conversation I learned something from you and I take it and I tattoo it to my heart and to my thoughts. And you was talking about when sometimes we mad at somebody and get it all in our feelings, and that person has moved on and we still carrying that anger and things.
Right, because you're cluttering your spirit. And you know what? I'm going to shout out to my wife for this. Shout out to Miss Johnson, because she helped me with this, right? And I think I shared this earlier, right? And I would get upset with my wife because of something she did or didn't do. And it'd be late at night, and I'd be up. I can't sleep. I'm looking over at her. I'm so angry. And my wife is over there snoring. She's sound asleep, saliva coming out of her mouth. She's sleeping, and I'm up. And I said, wait a minute. There's something wrong with this picture. So what's wrong with the picture is the anger and the resentment is not affecting the other person. It's bringing me down. So I've learned to, man, just let it go, man.
Let it go.
Let it go, man.
Yeah.
If my wife was perfect, she sure wouldn't be messing with me because I sure ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? If I'm looking for the perfect relationship, that means I can't be a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? So man, you know, I just try to let things go, man. You know, practice some forgiveness, man. Let people off the hook, man. Let people off the hook, man. I don't need to hold on to that stuff, man. Just let it go, man. It's like I just want to be free. I want to have peace, and I want to be serene, man. And don't nobody do to me what I do to me. Man, I'm telling you, I beat myself up. You know, look, man. Come on, man. I'm human.
That's the I think the roughest part that I struggle with is that I put myself at levels where I expect a certain result, and not all the time do I get it, and then I become frustrated, and I start to let the depression and all that build up on me, and I think many people have a tendency to forget that not one of us are perfect.
Ain't nobody perfect, man. Nobody perfect. I just try, and I think I said, I just try to do my best. If I've done the only thing God requires from me is I do my best. So if you require more than that from me, good luck, because it ain't going to happen. I just, I'm doing it. But, you got to. Man, you got to. Forgiveness is powerful. Yeah. And I was so confused about forgiveness for so many years. And the confusion was, I thought that forgiveness was for the other person, but it's not. It's not for them. It's for me. When I forgive you, it ain't for you because I forgive you and you might cuss me out. But guess what? I'm free. And now you carrying the baggage. Yeah. Now you got the baggage. I got it off of me and you done picked it up. So, it's just like, man, you got to forgive, man.
That's a powerful word, and many people have a tendency to not want to entertain it. Forgiveness. And I did that a few nights ago. I was mad about something. I don't even remember what it was. And I looked over and I was in my feelings. And like you said, my wife, she was asleep. And I got in the bed and I was like, I'm mad at her, so I ain't want to touch her, right? And then I asked myself, I said, Rodney, you get ready to go to bed. She sleep. You don't want to touch her. Are you going to leave her in the morning? I asked myself, And I was, you know, I know this is gonna sound crazy, me talking to myself like that, but I was like, no. My foot just eased on over there. I started rubbing her feet, and I went on to sleep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And I found the forgiveness gave me some peace.
Of course, it's
that
peace.
I could just rest my mind.
Absolutely. There's peace in forgiveness.
Yes.
There's peace in it. You do it for yourself. And if you're looking at you doing something or you're going to be belittling yourself or you're not a man, no, that's some junk. Man, practice forgiveness, man.
Yeah.
And get some peace in your spirit, man.
And something else you were saying earlier, you said that you don't, it's not that you don't like people or like certain people, but you don't put yourself in positions where you run around with people that's not living like you.
Yeah, man. I try to. So, I don't try to. I surround myself with positive thinking people. I surround myself with people who are doing the right thing. You know, most of my friends that I hang out with are married men, married, faithful men. You know what I'm saying? I have friends that visit certain venues, and I don't visit them with them because it's not conducive for my spiritual growth. And I you know, Rodney, I have to take responsibility for my life. You understand what I'm saying? And so I have to make decisions and choices that are conducive for what I'm trying to accomplish in my life.
Yeah.
And if I go outside of that, man, it's trouble, man. And so, again, that's back to the boundaries that you set. You got to set boundaries, man. Because I'm learning this. Your behavior is the outward expression of your character. So who you are on the inside manifests itself on the outside. So if the behavior that I recognize is not conducive to the way I want to live my life, then I need to be aware of that. I need to stay alert, and I need to separate myself from that. I need to separate, and it's. I'm not better than. I'm not saying that what you're doing is wrong or what you should be doing. I'm not going down that road. I'm saying this is what's best for me based on my experience.
Right.
This is what works best for me. And I think everybody should come to a place. Well, let me just say this: I'm coming to a place where, you know what I mean, that I realize that I'm responsible for my decisions. I'm responsible for my life, and I have to make decisions that are conducive to what I say I believe in.
Yeah. For everybody that's just joining in and really, I have Mr. Flemmie Johnson in. To me, I call him a serious philosopher because just of the conversations we had on many occasions. I want to bring something back to that happened not long ago when we sat down, me, you, your son, and his friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was real powerful how I left out of there. The expression of men talking, and it was so humble, and it was so inviting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how surprised you were on how much you affected all our lives.
Well, I'll tell you, Rodney, it was a humbling experience. And, you know, but I was grateful for that time, man. You know, one of the things that I'm learning in my process is that, man, you said a word earlier in this podcast, you said transparency. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I'm learning in this process is to tell on myself. Right? Mm-hmm. Because until I expose something, it's still growing. Yeah. But once I expose it, it takes the power away from it. Yeah. And so it's imperative that I tell myself the truth. See, I can look at you and tell you what I perceive to be the truth about you. Yeah. But can I look at me and tell myself the truth about what I see the way I'm responding, the way I'm acting,
Yeah.
the things that I'm doing, is it conducive to the life I'm trying to live? And so I think self-examination is powerful, man. Gotta look at yourself, man. Gotta look at yourself, man. And be honest with what you see.
I tell you, I this is amazing. Let me take this opportunity to put the number out there. If anybody want to call in, it's 703-752-6120. It's 703-752-6120. Also, you know, we always have to throw that cash app out there. It's the $RG 1960. That's the cash app is the $RG 1960. We appreciate everybody that's been supporting the podcast. We appreciate everybody who's been trying to make a difference. Okay, we got another caller. Hello, caller. You calling the people. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
This is Rachel Pope up in District Heights, Maryland.
The queen. How you doing, Queen Rachel?
I'm here. I'm alive.
I love you.
Love you too. I didn't get the beginning of the show, but I wanted to welcome the king that's there and the positive words that he's saying that people should be listening to and take heed to what both of you guys are saying, as well as the people making comments and calling in. But it's a perfect topic of what you're addressing, concern about renewing yourself, self-awareness, your consciousness of who you really are. And, you know, I always say, you know, love the people and have faith in your Lord as you grow. Because everybody, like he said, learns at different levels in life based on their experiences. And God had given us choices, okay? The choice to make your mind up. I know people say, only God is perfect. But guess who created us? And just think about this. Just a thought. That he's always there with you. But some people are not aware of it. They have to be enlightened to be aware of it based on their experiences. Those that have been through it is there as a guide to give them the wisdom. But you should always approach people to say, can I make a suggestion? So they be able and willing to listen to you and take heed to what you're saying. And some people think you judging them or putting the word on them and they go running when they see you coming. You want to be able to have people to be invited to your presence to receive the words that you have from your wisdom, from the lesson you learned in life. But God makes that path perfect for you. You got to make the choice which road you're going to take. He's going to be there. You got to ask. You also have them angels there. You got to ask because they there to help you. But are people aware of all those things in order to survive in the spiritual warfare of life? So I had to come and share this because, you know, I'm in the presence of the Lord based on my own experiences to have the peace of mind. And I had to call to say what I had to say on my heart to you kings.
We receive you. We receive you. Thank you so much, Queen. Thank you so much. And we love you. Well, for everybody that's been tuned in, we down to about 5 minutes. We got about 5 minutes left. And we appreciate the presence of Mr. Johnson. What you have brought to the table on many occasions has always been a positive positive situation where we get some knowledge, we get information, and I look at it almost like your position as one of the leaders, you know, because as we move on, you know, wisdom comes with your journey, and when you share it, you kind of take on a leader's position, and many of us got to be able to do that and do it with no conviction, not being selfish, and not looking for any reward, but just to say what you said earlier, being kind. You know, just be kind.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Well, you got the last word. So,
well, I'm just grateful, man. Thank you so much for having me. You know, and invest in yourself.
yeah,
Invest in yourself. Do what you feel your path leads you to do to grow and to become a better person. You know, I have a routine that I'm on it every day, every time, every day, without exception, without fail. Right? I spend time doing things that have helped me to continue to grow along spiritual lines, man, and it's paying off. You know, hard work always pays off. You know, and you know, it's something about habits. It's something about habits. Habits are so hard to break. Man, habits are so hard to break. And what I've experienced in my journey is that if you form good habits, they're hard to break. Just like the bad habits are hard to break.
yeah,
So once you do something long enough that's a good habit, it's hard for you to get away from it because it's a habit.
yeah.
So I'm always trying to implement good habits in my lifestyle.
I like that.
With prayer, meditation, reading something that's spiritual, helping somebody with no strings attached,
Yeah.
you know, showing my wife and my family I love them, not by what I say, but what I do.
Come on, man.
Because love is an action word. It's an action word.
Yeah.
So when I tell you that I love you, then the action has to match up with the words that I'm saying.
Come on now.
I can't tell you that I love you and I'm treating you like I don't even know you exist.
Yeah.
That's an oxymoron. It's not love.
Yeah.
If I love my wife, I'm faithful.
Yeah. Come on now.
If I love my wife, I take care of my wife.
Yeah.
We are partners, right? I have people in my life that have poured so much into me, man. And you know, so let me just say this. God saved me to serve, right? Service is not an option. Service is an obligation. We are obligated to give back what was so freely given to us. It's not an option. You know, I gotta show up because somebody showed up for me. I gotta share my experience because somebody shared theirs with me. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't look at it as a job or as a chore or something I have to do. I look at it as a privilege. I look at it as a privilege, man. And so when I do that, man, it keeps me focused on just trying to do the next right thing, man. Man, I'm just trying to do the next right thing. And I know it's all contingent upon my spiritual conditioning. Because if my spirit ain't right, man, I'm going to spit up on everybody. So, I mean, I just would encourage everybody to invest in yourself. Do things that make you feel good, that give you positive energy, that bring peace to your life. Invest in those things, man. You know, Larry Bird used to shoot 99% from the free throw. When everybody else left the gym, he'd shoot 10, 20 more thousand free throws. And so they wonder why, when he got on the line in the game, he was knocking down 99%. Because he practiced. It's about practice. And as long as you're practicing principles in your life, guess what? Your life has to get better, and can't nobody stop it.
That's powerful. That's powerful. I tell you, this has been an amazing opportunity for me to have you here as a guest. I definitely want to ask you to make sure that you will come back, because there's got to be a part 2 to this. I would like to get another few soldiers or men in the presence, because of that I know they kind of think on the level that we do, and that's being positive, and where we can set a tone and set an example. We trying to make a difference in going into the future. 2023 is an opportunity for you to make changes in your life. Love you. Make it so that you can do better, and show love and kindness to other people. Don't make it where you do things looking for a reward. Just do it out of the kindness of your heart. And as it said right there, when you feel like quitting, think about why you started. When you feel like helping somebody, know why you're doing it. Understand your intentions. Understand your purpose. And believe me, you'll be a blessing in your life. I appreciate you so much, man.
Thank you, man. My pleasure. Anytime. Anytime.
And this was an amazing opportunity. Y'all know I'm gonna try to find my music and see if I can get my music to close us out. And but I just want to tell you, man, everything that you have brought to the table, everything that you have shared with us, I want y'all to, you can go to YouTube. You can go to YouTube and watch this and sit down with some people who's struggling a little bit and let them listen to some of this knowledge that we got from Mr. Johnson. This man is, he's lived a life where that wisdom is tattooed to him, and he don't have no problem with sharing it, and that's been something that's been a blessing for all of us. And again, I just say thank you, and you know, we do what we do.
Thank you.
All right. That was powerful. It's the people. The people
I love the song, man. It's catchy.
It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about me.
Hey, come on, you stop
Wow,
bobbing.
Rod, Lazy, BTV.
Yeah.
Love you, Cookie. That's Cookie with the good fight.
What is a good fight?
It's a program that she has. It's another podcast, and it's powerful. This young lady has been through a lot, and she's a true supporter, making a difference in the community, man. So she's local, and we teaming up doing some things together. So you're gonna be seeing a lot and hearing a lot about it. But she's phenomenal. She's a powerful lady.
Who's the band you get today?
Actually, we went to the studio and he came up. We got together and put the whole thing together.
With the beat and everything?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Every Monday, every Wednesday night, Wednesday, yeah. Every Friday night, Friday. Remember Friday night? Lazy. And remember also this Wednesday, I gotta come back and give you some information, because we got a real powerful program that's gonna be going on and coming up with the another podcast. God bless you. Y'all enjoy and be blessed.